Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, heard Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on PSA.com and the PSA Facebook page. The Great American Collectibles Show is brought to you by PSA and the National Sports Collectors Convention. Tonight's headlines are brought to you by Sports Collectors Daily. For all of your hobby news, features, and more, visit sportscollectorsdaily.com. And now, your hosts, Tom Zappala and John Molori.
You know, nobody in this studio is right.
No, there's a lot of problems in the studio.
There are some real issues in this studio.
A lot of issues in the studio.
The two producers, they're not wired properly. You're certainly not wired properly.
How's your garden?
It's pretty good. Thank you for asking. All right, listen, the name of the show is The Great American Collectibles Show. Tom Zappala with my compadre co-host, Johnny Molori, JM as we affectionately call him. We've got two guests we're bringing in right away. One, because of our headline, which has been all over the freaking
It's not just
world.
our headline.
So we're going to bring in right now because we're going to go to the source. I'm going to read the headline, then we're going to go to the source because he does nothing anyway. And then we're bringing in our guest host, Brendan Wells from SCP Auctions. They have a very cool auction.
Excellent.
All right, so Derek Grady, I forgot his name. Derek is in the house. Here is the headline. 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle sets a new sports memorabilia record at $12.6 million. Mickey Mantle's net worth at the time he died in 1995 was around $10 million.
I didn't get that.
Early Sunday morning, one of his old baseball cards sold for more. One of the highest graded copies of the Hall of Fame's 1952 Topps card netted $12.6 million at Heritage Auctions after a flurry of late bids, becoming the most expensive piece of sports memorabilia ever sold.
Wow.
The price for the card, graded a 9.5 by SCG, includes a 20% buyer's premium added to all the winning bids. The card had been expected to sell for at least $10 million. For more information, you can go read the article on sportscollectorsdaily.com. Our good friend Rich Miller and the gang there. But we're going to get it from the horse's mouth right now. Derek, you guys have had an unbelievable week. Talk to me, brother. Talk to me.
I mean, it was a really exciting Platinum Night auction. It was our best ever. Even some of our competitors came by our display at the National and said, this literally, take out the Mantle card, it's still one of the best auctions we've seen. And we work really hard for that. We have great consigners, great employees. Brendan obviously worked with Dan Imler. I think the world of the guy. I'm sure, maybe Brendan does too, or maybe he got a big raise when Imler left. I have no idea. But either way, we just hired Joe Orlando, he's been a great addition. He's not getting credit for bringing in one thing for that auction, though. So let's be clear. His first auction,
that's horrible. That is horrible.
You want to talk about a front runner? Look when he signs on.
Just jump right in, right? I mean,
just jump right in.
Wait a second. Hold on. Joe called Molori and says, "Hey, the bat and the card? That was really me. not Grady."
He got it. No, it's a fact. It's my signature on the agreement. But no, honestly, the card had 4 bidders at $10 million or higher. This wasn't 2 people. Which, as Brendan knows, sometimes just 2 people can take it from a certain number to a certain number. I have a feeling if we could extend it again today, it would go higher. Right. And I know you asked me if I'd reveal the winning bidder, if he wants to be identified. And right now, the only thing he wants to be identified as is an avid baseball fan hailing from Rye, New York.
Rob Petrie.
So shout out to his hometown.
That was Rochelle.
That was Rochelle.
But also in the same auction, we set a record on, the Babe Ruth bat from 1918 to 22 was signed game used 10. As Brendan said, I keep mentioning Brendan, so Brendan, just remember this, by the way.
Brendan, you can talk,
Yeah.
I'm just letting it's his floor.
Well, I keep saying his name, so it's giving him a shout out. No, they had the record at SCP on a Ruth bat, I believe. And that lasted for over a decade. And we just sold one to beat that. Again, there's been private sales, but this was an auction record of $1.68 million. The Ty Cobb photo from the 15 Cracker Jack Cobb, that That photo was unbelievable. That sold for over $500,000.
Did that really? I was. I mean,
It was incredible.
That's a beautiful
The Gretzky.
card.
How about a Wayne Gretzky rookie in 10? We sold it for $1.2 million. That was a world record for a Topps card.
Wow.
48 Leaf Ruth in a PSA 9. It's one of the nicest 9s I've ever seen. I described it to a few bidders as one of the nicest 9s I've ever seen. That sold for $540,000.
Unbelievable.
I mean, the numbers were just crazy. And that Wee Willie Keeler bat that you were talking about was in somebody else's auction.
That was a mistake.
No, I know that, but think about this number. I just looked it up.
Yeah, what did that go?
$252,000 for freaking Wee Willie Keeler. The bat market is
First of all, let's be a little more respectful. The guy's a Hall of Famer. Hit them where they ain't.
Yeah. Let's go look at the Times Square billboards where we have right now. We have several billboards in Times Square right now with all these records. Let's ask anybody who Wee Willie Keeler is, and you know what they're going to say?
Very disrespectful.
You know what they're going to say? A munchkin from the Wizard of Oz.
Well, listen, I have a complaint. May I?
You always do.
You know,
and none of them are valid.
I was very disappointed. I went to bed early on Saturday night or Sunday night. I went to bed early. I went to bed at 9.
Because of your age.
Right. I was in bed at 9:30.
Drink green juice.
I was watching the Red Sox. I was aggravated, so I went to bed. Now, I had put a bid in on a 1933 Gaudi, Lou Gehrig, PSA 6. And I went to bed telling my beautiful wife, I'm really excited that I got this card. I'm really excited. And I went to bed, and I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning because I had to pee. And I looked
multiple times during the night again.
And I looked at it, and some guy beat me for $500.
Oh.
Do you know why that happened?
Because I didn't stay up.
Because you told me you were going to bid to 19 grand.
Yeah.
So I just waited till you went to bed and I did 19.5. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the card next time I see you. No, I don't. Okay. I don't own. I was so occupied that auction with taking bids.
Well,
and you know there's a documentary being done on the card. The film crew was there. Oh yeah, no, there's going to be a documentary.
Well, listen,
on the card.
Congratulations.
From the journey.
All kidding aside. All kidding aside.
Good for the hobby. It's good for Brendan's auction.
You mean to the hobby. You know what you mean to the show. I know how busy you guys have been, and honestly, I know you've been inundated from all over from all the media outlets, and you took the time out to be with us for a few minutes. Now you've wasted our time, so I think you should go away.
You did. Yeah. No, I'm going to go away. I'm going to turn the show over to you guys and Brendan.
Congratulations
again. Enjoy the show.
Awesome.
Great job.
Thanks, man.
Great job.
Hey, good luck in your auction.
Derek, we love you, brother.
I'll be bidding in your sale.
Take care.
Good luck.
Derek Grady from Heritage Auctions. You know, he's like a brother. He really is. Good guy. All right, Brendan. Now you guys have an auction that is kind of gonna explode. Why don't you just give us an overview? First of all, no. Before you do that, give us a little overview of Brendan Wells's background. You were a PSA guy for a while too, right?
Yeah. So I was with PSA for 18 months as director of business development up until April of this year. But I was with SCP as auction director for 7 years prior. So I kind of did a little boomerang. I'm back with Dave Kohler and company. It's good. I just, kind of wanted to feel out the authentication side and different side of the business. A lot of changes when I was there. I mean, that's kind of an understatement.
You think?
Kind of went from going from public to private, new ownership coming in, changing things up a lot. A lot of new money, new ideas. Very smart people, kind of running the show over there now, and it was great experience overall. I love the auction side. This is where the action's at, so I just want to get back to it. So.
It's funny because I was talking to Joe. Well, Joe Orlando was president of PSA for 1,000 years, and he was CEO. And we were talking about, he's with Heritage now, as you know, Brendan. Joe says, I don't know. I mean, I just feel I belong here. I just love the memorabilia card side, the auction side of it.
Right.
And he's just learning, but he absolutely loved it. And I could see that, Brendan. I could see how you guys could, really fall in love with that part of the hobby. So weren't you with Upper Deck too for a while?
Yeah, that was my first official job in the industry. Out of doing some internships and I worked a season for the Cubs minor league team in Boise Hawks. I was working some sponsorship, doing some marketing up there for them for a season, and kind of just this, this is after getting out of the financial services industry after our first crash back in 2007.
Yeah.
I went back to school, got my MBA in sports business management, and then kind of was following a path I thought towards, front office, professional sports, and kind of just got steered in this direction of the hobby and got a job at Upper Deck, was building card products there. It was really fun. We had a CLC license at the time, so you could build college nostalgia, college, sports sets or college team sets.
Yeah.
UNC basketball, Duke basketball, Notre Dame football, Alabama football. So that's kind of what I was doing. Then I kind of got into the UDA side of the business. So whether they're representing Jordan and LeBron and Tiger and their big exclusive spokesperson deals that they do. And so I was on the e-commerce side for them, and I spent 3 years there. Worked with Terry Melia for a little bit.
We love Terry.
Good guy.
Steve Sloan was there with me for a little bit as well.
Stevie's a good guy too. Yeah.
And that's actually kind of how I ended up at PSA. Like Steve and I are been good friends for a long time, and we kind of, he hired me. So, it was a great being on the manufacturing side, then going on the auction side, and then going into the authentication side. I've seen being on all three sides of the business is kind of an interesting perspective that I have gained.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very valuable for what I do every day to kind of know how every kind of function works, and so it's been a good ride so far.
Good.
Yeah.
So Brendan, SCP Auctions, great items. Celtics Lakers we know is a long-lasting rivalry back to the Russell Wilt, Bird Johnson, even. Back with the KG and Kobe.
Remember Don Nelson's free throw?
Back of the rim.
Right.
Went
back straight up.
Straight up and down. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So talk about that. You have some Bill Russell items. Let's talk about Bill Russell first. We just lost the icon, sports and society icon. And then let's start with the Celtics, because we always should start with the Celtics and then get to that horrible, lousy, bane of my existence team in Los Angeles. But let's start with the Celtics. No,
I think we should start with the Bill Russell license plate.
No, I'd like to start with the Celtics because they just lost to the Warriors in the finals. And so I'm representing here.
Listen, the only saving grace. Saving grace is that Kyle Yastrzemski's grandfather plays for your team now. So I'm good with that.
His grandson.
Grandson. Sorry.
He's hitting about 200 right now.
I know.
He's playing all right. He's a good player. He's a hard-nosed guy. But yeah, the Celtics-Lakers rivalry. Obviously, if you look at if you go baseball, it's Yankees-Dodgers pretty much for the teams that kind of lead the hobby, right? And basketball, it's probably Celtics-Lakers. Football, it's probably Packers, Steelers, Cowboys, Patriots. Unfortunately, now the rain, but yeah. So anything Celtics-Lakers, and if you have an icon from one of those sports, we had the Kobe Bryant jersey that sold for $2.75 million our last auction, his rookie jersey. So our headliners, I guess you could say headliners, we have a lot of stuff that's probably going to be in that six-figure, low, mid six-figure range in this auction. Not anything that's going to be $2 to $3 million. No 9.5 SGC Mantles, unfortunately, but a lot of stuff cumulatively is going to add up. And headline, I guess, by Bill Russell, kind of unfortunately, by Bill Russell's Hall of Fame ring. And his 50 greatest ring, a few other items from his collection, from his that have kind of been passed through. Some of his friends, and his PR guy actually got his license plate, the last license plate he was actually issued before he left Massachusetts back in '72.
See, I would throw a bid in
because that's neat.
That's a cool thing to have. And you know where he lived? He lived in Reading, right near Austin Prep, the school that wouldn't die.
Yeah. Austin Prep. That's the 5th or 6th best high school in Reading. So, a little behind St. John's Prep, but we're not going to get into that.
We won't get into that
at all.
That's my alma mater.
That's where he went to high school.
My alma mater.
Well, this has been great. I'm a West Coast sports guy. I grew up on the West Coast, went to college on the East Coast. But all my teams in the Bay Area that I follow, and so Boston's. There's a rivalry. Maybe not to you guys, but we just don't like East Coast, the Northeast, you guys teams, Boston, New York.
But isn't it typical, though? Isn't it typical you came here to get educated? See, that's what happens. I went to BC, and there was everyone was from New York.
We came out that away from our parents. We came back.
That's a good point.
You went back, though.
Very
You went
good
back
point.
for the weather, although San Francisco, I don't know. But
So anyway, so you've got some. All kidding aside, you've got some absolutely amazing Russell memorabilia. I mean, the rings, fabulous stuff.
hey,
But
look,
go ahead.
Brendan, do you think the fact that the NBA has now retired his number across the league, things like that, I think get people that maybe weren't interested in Bill Russell, maybe people that didn't even know Bill Russell, younger collectors. Do you think that's going to kind of spur them to, say, I got to look at this guy now, in the confines of the hobby?
I hope so. He's been kind of handing the Larry O'Brien trophy. I guess I think it's the MVP trophy, right?
Right.
He hands to the winner.
Yeah.
The last several finals. So if you're young, you don't know who this guy is, but you see him at the biggest moment on stage. Now is an opportunity to really dig in and learn about his past. I actually learned a lot just by doing some of the write-ups on this stuff. I knew he had a troubled past with the city of Boston, with the fan base there.
Yeah.
He was like kind of the Jackie Robinson. Him and Oscar were kind of the Jackie Robinson of basketball. They went through so much. What they had to endure is just unfair, right? What they had to
Absolutely
go through.
agree.
I mean, Bill Russell experienced real racism.
He did.
I mean,
There's no
real
doubt.
racism at a time when it was at its height. No doubt.
And it would have been. It's unfair to say it's to Boston because it would have probably happened in any city.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Boston
Agreed.
gets labeled like with that, and that's unfortunate too.
Yep.
But what they actually, we also have Oscar Robert. Ironically, we have Oscar Robertson's Hall of Fame ring in the same auction. So the two guys who are literally the pioneers of being of star black athletes in basketball, and bringing that whole culture on their back and kind of representing is pretty incredible to have it in the same auction. And actually, we have three. I hate to keep going back to the auction. We have 3 Hall of Fame rings, Naismith Hall of Fame rings, which I don't think that's very common in one auction. The other one is Clyde Lovellette, who Clyde Lovellette. Make sure I pronounce his name right.
Actually, it's Lovellette, wasn't it? Clyde Lovellette.
I think
Lovellette, right?
It's Lovellette.
Lovellette.
We're just going to do all
he
different
played for
pronunciations.
I think he's the only. Got a trivia question for you guys. He's the second, or he was the first to ever win a title with both the Celtics and the Lakers. Can you guys name the other one?
Wayne Embry.
That's a good one.
He was the first.
Wayne
And a
Embry
title with the Celtics and the Lakers.
Wayne the Wall, no?
Don Chaney?
It's recent. It's a recent one. I'll just give you that. Or at least post 2000.
Oh, I
should know that.
know that.
We'll think about
Rajon Rondo.
it. Damn it.
Really?
Right. Yeah.
I never
He won with the
I guess
Lakers.
you can
He won with the
count that.
Lakers in 2020.
I never liked Rondo.
Well, that's kind of a half. He has 1.5 titles because that doesn't really count. It was the 50-game season.
It was
in the
the COVID
bubble.
year, yeah.
It
COVID
doesn't
year.
really count, right?
None of the titles with the Lakers count because they count the ones from Minneapolis, which you cannot do.
See?
All kidding aside.
All right, listen, Brendan. I want to move on to you got a 51 Bowman Mantle. What's and you got a 50? Actually, you got a 51 Bowman Mantle and Mays in the auction, correct? What's the grade on the Mantle?
It's a 7. It's a nice card. I've seen, just to be perfectly honest, I've seen better 7s out there. I've seen worse. It's interesting when you look at these cards nowadays and how they're graded. You obviously, I think any buyer would probably be curious to know when that card was submitted. Just because I think the standards have changed over the last few years, and because the hobby has gotten such a big industry, there's just such a more of a focus on these big cards, getting headliners on ESPN.com. So yeah, I just think that's also made it. There's more of like eyeballs on these big cards and anything new that's submitted.
Yeah, but that card. My wife is irritated with me because that card. I bought that card 3 years ago now. It's still not getting the love it should get. Why isn't that card getting the love, man?
Are you talking about his original rookie?
No, I'm talking about the 51 Bowman Mantle.
I don't understand. I love the landscape look of it, and the art on the 51 Bowman was incredible. And I think it's a better looking set, to be honest with you, than 52 Topps. I actually like 53 Topps better too, visually. But you're true. The other one in that set that I always guess, I'm representing San Francisco here, the Giants here, but Willie Mays. I'm a huge Willie Mays guy.
Great card.
How is the 51 Mays not a more valuable card at this point.
Totally agree with you.
I don't understand that at all.
Just a great card.
Yep.
All right, listen, we're going to take a break. We are chatting with Brendan Wells from SCP Auctions. We got a lot to talk about when we come back. And do me a favor, put on a Red Sox jersey. Do something, all right? Please. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectibles Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, we are back, and Brendan from SCP Auctions is in the house. But before we get back to Brendan, hey, there's a new card show.
Big show.
Big show.
You're old. You remember Ed Sullivan. Right here. Wonderful, wonderful show.
Big show coming up, and this show is going to be the signature card show in New England as it grows.
I agree. Prime Time Events is proud to present the New England Card Show along with Prime Time Saturday night on Saturday, October 1st and Sunday, October 2nd at the Mass Mutual Center and the Basketball Hall of Fame in beautiful downtown Springfield, Massachusetts. The New England Card Show takes place from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Mass Mutual Center, 1277 Main Street in Springfield, and there will be over 300 tables, sports celebrity autographs, auction houses accepting consignments, and much more. But that's not all. On Saturday night, join us for Prime Time Saturday Hobby Talk at the Basketball Hall of Fame Theater. For a separate admission fee, there will be panel discussions, breakout cards, and audience participation in the theater, hosted by the sports card therapist. I could use that. From 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Trade night with food, games for the kids, and much more at Center Court will also take place from 7:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. And admission, get this, is free. That's the New England Card Show, the ultimate sports card show experience. For more info, call 860-819-4343.
That's going to be a hell of a show. John Demarais, this guy is working his butt off.
He was on the show last week.
This show is, I mean, our sponsors are all going to him for, they want to get spots.
That's going to grow
it's going to be
a landmark show that everyone's going to want to be at.
It's going to be, and by the way, on Saturday, Mr. Rico Petrocelli will be doing.
That's our guy.
Petrocelli, he's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. And I want your opinion on this also, Brendan. So Petrocelli, they contact him to do an autograph signing.
Yeah.
And he charges them a price.
Right.
Right? Fair.
He should.
Now, he gets another call from them. They've also decided to bring in the 75 Red Sox.
Okay.
He quotes them another price.
So same place, two hits.
2 hits.
Good for him.
2 paychecks.
Good for him.
Ellen and I are going to be there on Saturday. They asked us to come.
Right.
You know what we're getting?
Nothing.
Free hot dogs. We get free freaking hot dogs.
Well, you didn't play third base for the Red Sox and shortstop.
Doesn't Rico just sign stuff for you when he's there on studio?
Actually, Rico, he does. Once in a while.
He does.
He pays us to do that, by the way. No, Rico's the best.
He's the best.
Rico is the best.
He is.
40 home runs, right? In 1969, is that right?
Yeah.
Or is it? Yeah.
But he I don't know if you know this, but he held the American League record for most home runs in a season
by a shortstop.
Here's the trivia question: who broke his record?
I'm gonna guess A-Rod.
You're dead
Absolutely.
on. Dead on.
I was going to say Rajon.
There was no one hitting home runs at that level until the 90s. Basically,
I'm still ticked off. I didn't get Rajon Rondo. That's pathetic. That's pathetic.
He wasn't that good.
Hey, we're talking to Brendan Wells,
Yeah,
SCP Auctions. Let's go West Coast because that's your wheelhouse. A couple of things that you have in this auction. Did you say you have Joe Montana's the football from his first touchdown pass?
Yes. So he obviously he was not really well known.
No, he was not.
Year. He's backing up Steve DeBerg.
And the Niners were not very good, actually.
Yeah, backing up Steve DeBerg.
Yep.
And it came in to mop up time against the Broncos in a midseason game and threw this touchdown pass to kind of a relatively no-name tight end named Bob Brewer. And so that was the guy who caught the first touchdown pass of Montana's career. So there's probably fans in there, probably had a few too many of these in the fourth quarter, probably not paying much attention, realizing this is a big moment, right?
Yeah.
No one ever really pays attention to that stuff. When Grady had his first touchdown pass, I didn't even know when that was, but he was starting. I think he was starting at the time because that was after he took over for Drew, right? So
wait a second. Didn't Wiggy catch his first pass?
I couldn't tell you. I could guess, but I don't think a touchdown pass.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
It wasn't. I thought it was.
I'm not sure. It could have been. Could have been.
So this ball, it was the tight end Brewer kept it, in his collection for many years. Ended up in his family's possession, his family's estate, I guess you want to call it that, and it's coming from the family. Hasn't left the family's possession.
So he kept the ball, and not because he thought Joe Montana was going to become Joe Montana. He kept the ball because that might have been his only touchdown catch in the history of his career. I haven't
looked at his stats, but I think that might be his. Either he only had one or a couple.
That's
right?
unbelievable.
So,
wow.
Yeah,
I like that.
You know something? That paid for his career.
When you think about it, right? Who knew? But he was smart to keep that ball.
Let me ask you guys something. Since you guys are Boston guys, or at least you are, Tom. When did Brady surpass Montana? Which Super Bowl was it? Because I can't even sit here. I'm not going to sit here and say that because for a while in the Bay Area,
let me answer that. First of all, for the rest of the world, for the rest of the world, Tom Brady had to win 5 Super Bowls to surpass Montana. To me, he surpassed Montana in that 2007 season when they almost went undefeated.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
That year, and then he got hurt the next year. To me, that year was he already had 3.
Correct.
That was the year that statistically Tom Brady really stepped up. Like, he was the winner.
Totally agree with you.
But they won those first 3 Super Bowls largely on the defense. Brady was great, don't get me wrong. But to me, that was the year he stepped up.
Totally agree.
And became the complete package, the winner and the stat guy. So for me, that's when it was.
You know what's really interesting, both you guys?
Now go ahead.
No, I agree with you. That was the season I was going to call. But, this guy's been gone for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. He hasn't played 2 downs in the preseason, right?
Oh, Brady, yeah.
Did you see?
He's only gone for 11 days.
But he hasn't done anything.
He's done nothing.
Did you see what he did in that exhibition game? I mean,
he knows what he's doing.
It's like it's so rote now in his mind. It's like he doesn't even have to think about what he's doing.
And you could comment on this too, Brendan, because he is, by the way, he's a Northern California guy. Brady is. But that's what he said. He said when people said retire, I'm talking 5-6 years ago. I said it after the Seattle Super Bowl, retire. After the Atlanta Super Bowl, please retire, go out on top. He said, I know the game. Why would I retire now? I know how to do this now. Everything I see, I've seen before.
Absolutely.
That's
There's nothing. There's no defense. Right. Anyway,
what do you think, Brendan?
I have to respectfully disagree with you guys saying that he surpassed him by that season because he lost the Super Bowl and he lost to Eli Manning, who, let's be honest, if Eli Manning doesn't have 2 Super Bowls, he's not going to the Hall of Fame.
But listen,
100% agree. 100% agree.
But that was on a fluke. A guy caught the goddamn ball in his helmet.
He had Randy Moss catching his passes.
I know.
He had an incredible offensive coordinator and defense during those times as well. So I will say he had to at least surpass Montana in Super Bowls. He had to get his – I actually think because Montana was 4-0 and, it's back playing in that era where the running game matters more. These quarterbacks don't have the longevity as they have today because of the nutrition advancements and all the other technological advancements of what these guys are doing, medical and physiological. So I just feel like you got to take that in consideration for these guys. Back in the day.
I guess
I saw won 4 Super Bowls too.
This is
on the defense.
This is a great.
That's true.
This is a great debate. You could do a whole show on this because I've never really judged players in a team sport on titles. I've never judged quarterbacks on titles. It's impressive, Montana 4-0. It's great. Brady has 7 Super Bowls.
Wait.
I've never judged him on titles. It's a team sport. If Tom Brady gets drafted by the Jets, he might be just as good a player. He ain't going to have 7 rings. If Joe Montana, and look, it's a Belichick, Brady, Montana Wall. If Montana doesn't go to Bill Walsh and has Jerry Rice and all those guys they had in San Francisco,
That's true.
He's not winning 4. And it's not a knock on Joe Montana. He still would have had a great career because he was a great player. But I'd look at Dan Marino. You can make a case he was the best quarterback who ever lived. 0 Super Bowls.
True.
I mean,
good point.
I don't know.
All right, listen, let's get back to the auction. You have a Kennesaw Mountain Landis letter to Shoeless Joe Jackson.
That's cool, man.
That is
That's
one
really
cool piece. What's the story behind that bad boy?
Well, I think that there was a few letters. I think I saw one in another competitor auction of ours, a competitor's auction, a letter. I think there was multiple letters written by, Jackson, as we know, couldn't really read or write. So that was at least the history behind that. So I think there was multiple attempts by whoever was writing these letters for Joe Jackson to get him reinstated or just to plea to the commissioner. This is one of those letters that he responded to here is just kind of, Landis saying thank you, but no thank you. We are, until further notice, you are banned from the game. And it's big autograph in the bottom there, and the dates of the, on the letter and everything is lined up. It's in a nice PSA jumbo holder, which, by the way, those do make all these type 1s and these letters stand out so nicely.
Oh, God. It makes all the difference in the world. Difference in the world.
I just got an order back from Henry Yee myself. I'm a big type 1 collector. This is Eddie Seacott from the Black Sox, Charles Conlon here. And I just, these photos, in there, when you put them in these holders, it's just, they add so much, not just value, but just aesthetics to, in display. Then you can put these up with a little display stand.
Exactly.
It's beautiful. You don't have the clarity. Look at the clarity.
You don't have to frame them. I mean, that's the frame. It's
beautiful.
That's the frame. I agree.
Beautiful.
Brendan, you're dead on. Brendan, you've got, tell us about the Fred Clare collection.
That's the other one I was going to ask.
Yeah, what about that?
Yeah.
Fred Clare was a general manager for the Dodgers during the late 70s and late 80s. Longtime executive, and a lot of these items come right from his his personal collection, his family, and we got some National League championship rings from that time. I believe the family is there's no 88 World Series ring in that group, but he has the 74, 78, 74, 77, 78 NL championship rings. Of course, the Dodgers were blocking them, right, those years in the late 70s. And again, we've done a lot of these types of collections with players, retired executives. We did the Don Drysdale collection years ago. Just to kind of relate to Dodgers, we did Kirk Gibson's famous bat, famous jersey and home run bat from the 88 Game 1 World Series home run.
Eckersley's still pissed off about that.
We sold those 2 items together, actually in the same auction, and the batting helmet. They all went together. So we have a being in the Southern California area too. I mean, not that it matters because everything's global now and online, but we do have a really good following of localized Dodger collectors. Yeah. And that helps too when we bring these collections in, because people who, they want to look at it in person, they can drive down, they can maybe even make an appointment to see it. That's a great collection. A lot of good rings in there. Other good memorabilia from that time period. I grew up, as a Giants fan. My dad actually played for the Dodgers organization. He was signed at 19 out of college at Murray State University. Shout out John Morant. But he got signed and played minor league ball with the Dodger organization from 59 to 63.
Wow.
As a starting pitcher. So but I grew up a Giants fan. He changed because I was born and raised in the Bay Area, and we were always rooting for Will the Thrill, as I have my Will the Thrill on right here.
Oh my!
It's a Will Clark jersey. I like that. He was
my hero growing up.
I like Will Clark.
Overrated.
No, he wasn't overrated. He might have been underrated, actually.
No, actually, he was a good player.
Again, you have to have an appreciation. I have a major appreciation for anything Dodgers, Jackie especially. With that it's one of the storied franchises in baseball.
Yeah.
Same thing with basketball. I have a lot of respect. I have to, for the Lakers and Celtics and what they've done. I mean, the Warriors have, I think they have 5 championships. So we have a little ways to go to catch you guys.
No, man, but they're there now. And Curry cemented his legacy with these finals. This was the Steph Curry final.
He beat them. He
almost single-handedly beat them.
He did.
I don't know if single-handedly.
He pretty much single-handedly beat them.
The last
honest
game,
to God, the rest of the plays you can throw him in a bag.
He was great.
He was the guy that beat the Celtics.
Hey, Brendan, I want to ask you. We get into this all the time, and you're kind of a youngster, at least compared to me. You are.
Thank you for that.
I'm kind of a youngster compared to you.
Let's talk. Are you a vintage guy? Or are you a modern guy? Number one.
I'm an old soul, Tom. I'm pretty much, I really love baseball history, and a lot of things in my collection go back to like early 1900s, actually. So I'm more vintage than modern, but I'll chase after some modern Warriors guys or Giants, or just to kind of have that part of my collection, trading cards and whatnot. So
do you feel that a lot of, the hobby has had an influx, an injection of new hobbyists over the last couple of years. Do you feel that a segment of the new hobbyists are more investors and speculators than hobbyists?
For modern, well, I segment it like this. There's vintage, I guess, which you say is classified as pre-1980 is what they kind of always cut it off as. There's modern, which they kind of have, PSA does this when you're submitting. They put it at 1980 to about 2017.
And then ultra modern.
And ultra modern. So, I think the ultra modern market for sure is a big investment. There's probably more than half our investment. Because again, you can look at what happened to Fernando Tatis. I mean, you're putting in, investing in these guys to kind of be the cornerstones of their franchises for decades, and then they get these big contracts, and then they make a mistake, right? And then you're SOL, right, as they say.
Yeah.
But I think that in ultra modern, I think it's definitely more towards the investor side. I think it's kind of mixed in that modern zone from 80 to 2017. I think it's definitely mixed in there because you have a lot of the anyone who's collecting Jordan. that's not going to go down in value. His autographs, his game used stuff. By the way, we have a pair of his shoes in this auction, and Air Jordan 11.
I was about to ask you about 96. That. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But that stuff will not go down in value. It's great investments to this right now. Magic Bird, the iconic rookie card, the dual, basically the 2-for-1 special, right? 1980 Topps rookie card. That's not going to go down. I think there's the population's high on those, but if you get those in 8. And then obviously they're really tough to get not off center. So if you get without the qualifier in an 8-9, you're in good shape for a long time on those cards. So I just feel like that's it's a little bit mixed in that range, but I do think that the explosion in interest, spurred by the pandemic, the Last Dance, whatever you want to. Unfortunately, Kobe's death actually I think had a little bit to do with that as well, because right after that you had kind of like the quote unquote ambulance chasers trying to capitalize on his death with their memorabilia. But that all kind of helped bring in a lot of new blood to the hobby. But there was also a lot of old collectors getting back into it with their kids. So they're collecting to get back into it as a hobby. They're also trying to like get their kids into it, which would kind of keep them away from maybe screens, possibly, right? Which is always a good thing. I got 2 little girls, so anything I can do to get them away from screens is a win. But I think that the true modern collector, though, Tom, is I think they're in it for the long haul, and I think for the majority they're collecting what they love, and then the rest will follow.
Well, that's something that's encouraging to hear. That's encouraging. Yeah. We've got about 2 minutes left. 2 minutes, David? About 2 minutes. Your website is what, Brendan?
It's just scpauctions.com. Very easy.
And when does the auction end?
We're ending on Friday, September 9th.
Okay, so we've got some time.
There's some time.
Throw a bid in on the Kennesaw Mountain Landis.
There's a lot of things out there.
There's some really cool stuff.
This is a very varied auction, Brendan. I mean, there's a lot of things for a lot of different people. We always talk about different levels of collectors. You mentioned the game-worn stuff, the Jordan shoes. You have a Wilt, you have a Kobe game-worn. You have an Ohtani game-worn jersey as well, right?
Yeah. The game-worn stuff is I'm a memorabilia guy more. I show you some of my photos here. I'm trying to build maybe I shouldn't say this because I might shoot myself in the foot. I'm trying to build an eight-man out collection of all the original Type 1s.
Yeah, very cool.
Obviously, the tough one's going to be Jackson, but we'll see if I can afford that someday. The game-worn stuff we have, the Wilt jersey is incredible. So David Kohler, my humble boss here, the founder and owner of SCP for the last 40 plus years, he has what's been documented as the best Lakers collection, most comprehensive, highest value Lakers collection in the world.
Oh, that's all I hear about. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, he looked at this jersey and he gave it the seal of approval as one of the top, the finest Lakers Wilt jerseys he's ever seen, which is always great when someone like that can give it their seal of approval. And it's graded Mears A9. Has a good background, came through a Lakers equipment manager back in the day. Also has some, he signed it on both sides, which Wilt would do that often. You see that a lot of his jerseys, he signs on the front and the back. He put peace on the front to add a little flair to the autograph. And so PSA DNA authenticated both those autographs, and it's dialed. Everything about that thing is dialed, and it's a 6-figure plus, hopefully multi 6-figure jersey. It should be, considering what some of these cards go for. But yeah, I mean, in the Kobe stuff, coming off that last sale we had, we have a couple pairs of Kobe shoes in this auction, playoff shoes from 2007, or actually 2008 Western Conference Finals against the Spurs. They're photo matched. And then also a pair from early in his career, the Adidas, the old kind of more generic looking, but the white and black Adidas Crazy 8s that he has. There's actually come from, the provenance on those are interesting. It's actually from Ryan Leaf's collection.
Oh, wow.
Quarterback. So he actually was good friends with Kobe. They became friends when Leaf got drafted by the Chargers and was playing in SoCal. They were in the same circles because their managers went to high school together. Their personal assistants.
Gotcha.
So they were all hanging out together. Kobe was going and watching Ryan Leaf play for the Chargers down in San Diego. Ryan would go up to LA. Watch Kobe play basketball, play the Lakers. So they would go out and hang out together, and they were friends for a few years there. So So yeah, a pair of shoes that came from Kobe that he had, and he's put them up for auction, and and just a bunch of really incredible people. The Ohtani jersey you mentioned, too.
Yeah,
very
cool. 40th home run jersey from last year.
Very cool.
It's an awesome piece.
Listen, we're just about out of time. Just a shout out, Diamondbacks collection. 85% of the memorabilia on this book cover, which is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Compliments of Dave Kohler from SCP Auctions and his personal collection. Thank you, David. Brendan, we got to get you back on, man. You get it. You understand what we're all about.
Oh, I'd love to be back on, guys. It was great talking to you. And I next time, please don't make me follow Derek Grady after a 9.5 Mantle
good
sale.
point. Very good.
Next time we're going to have him. Next time he's going to follow.
He'll follow you. All right, Brendan. Good luck with the auction.
Talking to you guys.
Take
Have
care,
a great one.
Brendan.
Thanks, Brendan.
Good kid.
Awesome.
Yep. Brendan Wells from SCP Auction. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have to change. We have a wardrobe change. Because we have Scott from Collector Connection coming on. Hang in there.
Awesome.
We'll be right back.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on the tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
With so many fakes out there, it's hard to figure out if the sneakers you want are real. But when you buy eligible sneakers on eBay, you can be confident they're genuine because every pair goes through a meticulous authentication process. Introducing eBay Authenticity Guarantee. First, the sneakers you've purchased are inspected by a team of professional authenticators who carefully examine the shoes, including color, pattern, logos, and materials. Then they're measured and compared to the eBay listing to make sure they match. Even the laces, accessories, and box are checked. Once your sneakers are verified, they receive an authenticity tag, and every tag is NFC enabled so you can see the detailed specs. eBay Authenticity Guarantee. No fakes, no fraud, no doubt.
And eBay is the place to go, Zap, for all of your memorabilia, sports or non-sports cards, autographs, and much more. Whether it's a gift for that special someone or you want to just add to your collection, eBay's huge marketplace should be your first stop. And if you sell, now's the time to flip those cards and get some extra cash. I shop on eBay all the time. That's eBay, connecting buyers and sellers.
Okay,
globally.
we are back, and if you can see, I have the Collector Connection T-shirt on backwards because it's two sides to it, and you have the front of it.
Also because you can't dress yourself without Ellen, because you didn't do that on purpose. You actually thought you were putting it on.
That's
the
a
ring.
lie.
That's 100% true.
Outright right.
I want to be truthful to our
Now,
viewers.
Scott has...
This is a great shirt.
Scotty Russell has our Great American Collectibles.
Thank you, guys.
He does. Look at that.
Likewise.
All right, Scott. Scott, why is it that your connections...
The T-shirt foreign exchange students.
Why is it that your connections are the absolute worst in the history of the Internet? Is there any particular reason why? Did we lose them already? We already lost them.
And it's called the Collector.
I'm actually...
Actually, no, I like the picture.
Yeah, it's right on the logo.
Just outside the Pines in New Jersey. I'm going through a...
This is great.
We're not.
We should have him live in studio one day, and then we'll all be. It'll all be funny because he'll actually sound like that, and we're like, "Oh, sorry, we didn't know you had a problem."
All right, Scott, you're fading in and out. Actually, I like this. I like the picture, though. The image is pretty cool with the Great American, right?
Yeah,
that's it.
Scott, tell us about the auction. You've got a 53 Mantle. You got some near sets. Tell us about the auction and when it starts and ends.
Yeah, well, it's running right now, and it ends Sunday, September 4th. Nice little everything. Heavy on the...
He sounds like a robot.
He's like 71.
Joke's on us. He's a cyborg. Who knew? Who knew?
Really, we can't hear him. Scott, unfortunately, we can't hear you at all.
Are you not getting me?
No, not at all. Now we are. Okay. Try it again.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm in the boonies in New Jersey. Sorry, guys. So we got a lot of autographs in this auction. 71 Gil Hodges, which is his last possible Topps autographed card. Nelson Howard. I
think we lost him
again. We think
again.
we might have lost him again. Yep.
All right, you know what we'll do? Let's, Scott. We're gonna have to cut you, and we'll reconvene. When is the auction again? When is it closed? September 4th.
Yes.
All right. So what we'll do is you have some stuff.
I got some stuff.
We're going to talk about it now. We'll talk about it now. He's got a lot of particulars on it. We have the dates. And you have our T-shirt on. We're going to leave the picture of him up there, though, because it's right with the Great American Collectibles T-shirt on. And then we'll call you after the show, Scott, all right? So tell us.
And the interesting thing is that the company's Collector Connection, but he doesn't have a really good connection.
No, really.
But we're going to talk about. So I have a bunch of notes. So he's got some Muhammad Ali boxing gloves, which, Ali is like, he's up there. What you're the guy, you're the hobby guy. Is he up there in the hobby?
His stuff,
I don't hear enough about
his
him.
stuff is red hot.
Yeah.
His stuff, seriously, is red hot.
Yep.
And I told you, I lost my jacket when I was in college. I sold my leather jacket to get tickets.
To see Ali.
To see Ali and Frazier in a closed circuit. Sold my leather jacket for $25 to get the tickets. We get to the Portland Expo, and the closed circuit thing breaks down. Only place in the country. What else
the Collector
does he have?
Connection, he's got an ESPN The Magazine.
That's a nice picture.
I think it's signed. It's got Kobe Bryant and Eric Lindros on it, 2 Hall of Famers in their respective sports. And another speaking of magazines, he's got a signed Sports Illustrated from Henry Aaron, the one that had just 715 as the title.
That's cool.
When he broke Ruth's record. So, I think that's great. Aaron's been a guy, to me, that since I've started doing this show, the last couple of years, even through COVID, that he's growing. I think Aaron, Clemente, Jackie Robinson.
Do you know who's picking up ahead of steam? Ernie Banks is picking up ahead of steam, too.
Okay, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Yaz is still...
I know. Nothing. I don't know why.
I don't either. It's just.
I'd say it's because he never won a title, but neither did Banks.
Not a lot of movement.
Yeah.
By the way, he also has some near sets.
Yep.
And that's becoming popular. He's got a 53 Mantle.
Yeah. And he's got speaking of sets, he's got a 1976 Topps football complete set, which includes, among other great players, O.J. Simpson's in there, but Walter Payton. That's sort of the big card in that set.
Wait a second. Isn't the 76, that was the year that the Pats got screwed.
Well, that was the season, but these would probably be the 75 pick. But 76 season was the year that Ben Dreith, the roughing the passer call on Ray Hamilton. Bear Hamilton.
Cost them the Super Bowl.
Barely hit Stabler.
Cost them the Super Bowl.
Cost them the Super Bowl. They would have gone right through Pittsburgh. Minnesota was awful. Fran Tarkenton was like 85.
Who won that? Stabler
and the Raiders. And the Raiders were great. They were 13-1.
I was irritated.
They were 13-1 that season. Their one loss was to the Patriots in Foxborough, 48-17.
Who was the big? Remember Cliff Branch?
Of course, went into the Hall of Fame.
He was
finally.
Good. He was good.
Oh, that was a great team.
Yeah.
Dave Casper, Fred Biletnikoff, the line Upshaw and Artshaw. It was a great team.
That was a good team.
But the Patriots
What else?
did beat them. He's got some great Willie Mays cards, great Roberto Clemente cards. He's got the Joe Montana's rookie card in this auction. We're talking about Collector Connection, Scott Russell. He's got Jabbar, who actually was Lou Alcindor. It's a great Bucks.
You know what the good thing about Scott is? The good thing about Scott, every opening bid is $5.
I have it down here. It's like an auction for everyone.
$5, and he really does.
Even some of the stuff we mentioned.
Listen, you're not going to get a $9.5 million.
The initial bid is like $10.
You're not going to get a $12 million Mickey Mantle card,
right.
But you're going to get you're going to get cards and memorabilia that everybody can afford.
Yeah,
that's why
he's the people's auctioneer.
He's got a niche.
And I had a great talk with him at the National. And he had some great vintage stuff there. But more than just cards, he had a couple of like newspapers with headline. He's got some great. Check out this auction.
All right, it closes September 4th. The Collector Connection. Before we end this, let's talk about our good friend Joe Drellick and the Philly Show. Okay. East Coast Sports Marketing and Hunt Auctions are pleased to present the Philadelphia Sports Collectors Show, the Philly Show, from Friday, September 23rd to Sunday, September 25th. Held at a new location, the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center, Hall B, 100 Station Avenue, Oaks, Pennsylvania. Shop over 250 of your favorite hobby dealer booths on over 75,000 square feet of sports collectibles, having from the 1800s to the present day. Major sports auction houses and third-party grading and authentication companies are on hand to assist your collecting needs. The Philly Show is a family-friendly, and all kids 12 and under get in for free. Autographed guests include Baseball Hall of Famers Jimmy Rice, Ricky Henderson, John Smoltz, and 2022 inductee Jim Cott, who, by the way, gave us a nice endorsement for the book.
I saw that,
Philadelphia Eagles Hall of Famer and legend Brian Dawkins, and many more. For more information, go to thephillyshow.com. Remember, since 1975, that's when you were born, the Philly Show is where it all started.
No doubt. No doubt.
Good show today. Special thanks to Derek.
Yeah.
Brandon.
12.6 mil, man.
And half of Scott. Half of Scott did well, right?
Listen, half a Scott is better than no Scott at all.
Really?
That's what I always say.
All right, brother. Have a good week.
too, brother.
Next week, Rico is in the house.
Yep.
And we got some nice shows coming up over the next month or so.
Absolutely.
With that being said, remember, you guys, thanks for all your support. You guys, without you, we wouldn't be here.
Absolutely.
And happy collecting.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.